We'll certainly have a keen eye on it. I know they're friends, and there's always a lot of talk, isn't there, whether friends will actually kind of fight each other.
That's a fight that makes sense for me next.
Yeah.
I think, assuming Josh wins on Saturday, looks good, I think he should go straight into the Dan Aziz fight because, I know Johnny's saying you want the world title shot, but sometimes these world title shots take a bit of negotiating, a bit of putting together. Rather than sit idle, because inactivity's killed him, we know Dan Aziz, that's a fight that can be made. There is the British Commonwealth European titles on the line.
And the one thing that Dan Aziz has had that Joshua hasn't had is he's been active, hasn't he? Yeah. While Joshua's been sat out, as it were, Dan's been progressing on.
I get that, Anna, but on a world scene, how does that affect Buatsi? It suits Dan more than it does Buatsi. So he's now thinking, right, I've got to control my career. I've got to make sure I make the right moves that work for me. So right now, this might not suit me, but it can happen.
All right, okay. Well, the undercard press conference is just about to get underway, so let's hand you over to Big Mo for the introductions.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hilton Metropole here in Birmingham, England. Boxer is back in the UK after a brief stint in Poland. And speaking of being back, this Saturday night at the Resorts World Arena, we are going to witness some amazing returns, of course, headlined by the return of Joshua Buatsi. We would like to thank the members of the media who joined us here today, and thank you to our viewers joining us on Sky Sports. This Saturday is Crowning Glory, promoted by Ben Shalom and Boxer, witnessing returns all across the card. Ben Whittaker, Joshua Buatsi, and 3 titles are on the line. We begin our live showdown today, our press conference today, with the members of our undercard. I'm going to be turning it over to Savage Dan here shortly, but I want to introduce those joining us here on stage. First, from Leamington Spa, England, the undefeated Danny Quartermain. A great rematch is on the card, featuring first from Brighouse, England, Jimmy the Fist First. And he will be facing off against, from right here in Birmingham, Corey Gibbs. Up next on our panel from Portsmouth, Joel El Toro McIntyre. And on Saturday, he'll be going up against our next guest on stage, also from here in Birmingham, Shakan Pitters. And our last 2 guests on this part of the press conference are competing for the WBO European Super Lightweight Championship. First, the challenger from right here in Birmingham, Casey Benjamin. And the defending champion from Belfast, Northern Ireland, Sean the Public Nuisance McComb. Savage Dan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Big Mo. Casey, his fight isn't here. It's on the main card, though, in case you're wondering where he is. Welcome, everybody, to Birmingham. We have a big show Saturday night and a big undercard. We've got some very, very good fights here. So let's meet the fighters. I will go to Danny first. Danny, you're a popular boy. Expecting some big fans, a big crowd coming down from Leamington Spa.
Yeah, 100%. Leamington's very boxing orientated. Has the history from the Turpins back in the 60s, and it follows everyone who does great from Leamington, and I'm bringing a massive crowd with me on Saturday night, and it's going to be a great atmosphere.
8-0, looking to go 9-0. For those that haven't seen you before, what kind of fighter are you? What can they expect?
They can expect excitement for sure. I can box on the front foot, on the back foot. I can mix it up. If I need to brawl, I'll brawl. A lot of lads from the amateurs will know I'm a tough cookie, so it'll be exciting.
You get a chance here to box on a big show and on Sky. How do you make sure that you take the opportunity with both hands?
Yeah, it's a massive opportunity, and obviously I'd like to say thank you to the lads and people who have worked on getting me on the show. It's a chance for me to showcase what I can do skill-wise, my boxing ability, and also what I can bring to the party.
You're in with a tough opponent. He's never been stopped by any Brit before. He knows his way around the ring. Mexican. So you can gather that he'll be quite tough. What do you have to do to make sure that you win and win impressively?
I've got to be focused all times. Obviously, he's going to come forward and fight, which is exactly what I want. I don't want to have to chase someone around the ring. It's going to bring a better performance out of myself. And he's fought some top lads as well, a few names. So I'd like to add myself to that sheet, and obviously we'll get the win on Saturday.
Good luck on Saturday night, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Next up, we have a fight that we've seen before. Jimmy first, I will come to you first. You got the win last time out, albeit in a bizarre fashion. But did you feel like you would have won that or could have won that without the deducted points?
Yeah, I mean, the man who scored the action, who was closest to the action, the referee, saw a lot of things that I were doing that might not have been mentioned, or I brought the hustle, and it would have been a draw without the gum shield scenario. It was a good fight, very good fight, no doubt about it. Corey's a very good skillful boxer, but I put it on him that night, and the right man won in my eyes. Yeah.
You've been in there with him already, so the element of surprise, I guess, is gone. Do you think that plays more into your hands?
I don't know, really. I know what to expect. Corey probably knows what to expect. And, like I said, all respect to anyone that gets in the boxing ring. At the end of the day, it's just a fight. But it's great to be here on Sky Sports. I've got to say, the boxer team are absolutely fantastic. The hospitality that they provide is great. It's great to be here in Birmingham on such a good show. It's where I belong. And, I'm going to fully capitalise on it. And, I expect Jimmy First to do the double in better fashion this time as well.
42 years young. Still a lot left? Still as hungry as ever?
Just getting started. Just getting warmed up. I'm a young 42. Started boxing late. There's very low miles on the clock. And, a lot of 22, 25-year-olds can't keep up with me in the gym. So I'm only getting started in this sport, that's for sure.
Corey?
Just one thing before you do. I've got a little present for Corey as well. Just in case we have a problem with the gum shield.
No problem next.
There's some super glue here. Just as a gift. Just a little gift.
I'll hold on to it.
All good, bro.
Corey, it was a bizarre way to lose in Bournemouth.
Yeah.
I guess I should ask you, have we got a different gum shield this time?
Yeah, everything's sorted this time. I'm more professional this time, because obviously it was just an embarrassment last time, to be fair. Obviously I weren't professional. Obviously that was just a bizarre situation that happened, but I think this time, obviously no gum shield is going to be popping out my mouth, so it's just I can show my skills, put it on him a bit more, and I'll definitely come out on top.
You'll no doubt feel like you were in control of the fight. What were your initial thoughts in the aftermath of that defeat? It's not the most conventional way to lose points.
It was just embarrassing, to be fair. Obviously, you've got to be professional in this game, and obviously I just weren't professional. It was just embarrassing. So obviously now it's just it's sorted now. It's just now I can actually show my skills and showcase that I'm going to win the fight, and it's going to be easy, like what it should have been before. Obviously, Jimmy's a good fighter, taking nothing away from him, but I know what I can do and what should have happened last time. I should have won. So, it's just you got to move on from that now. It's in the past. And Saturday night, I want to come out victorious.
How much of your actual performance do you feel like was affected by the gum shield? Obviously, you're now having to concentrate on making sure that gum shield stays in. Was that affecting the punches you were throwing or how you were fighting?
It was just stopping my flow of things. Obviously, I was getting into a flow that was coming out, and obviously the ref was saying you're going to get disqualified, which happens, obviously. But there was just a lot of things that was just going through my mind at the time, and obviously it was just stopping my flow. So now it's just like nothing's going to happen like that again. Obviously, I've stuck down. I've obviously got them gum shields sorted, so you're going to see a better performance from me.
Back in your hometown on Saturday night, what happens this time round?
Corey, I'm definitely going to come out on top. I'm definitely going to get the win. And obviously, I've brought a big crowd out. Obviously, it's my hometown. So, I'd like to obviously thank Boxer and Ben for getting me the rematch, first and foremost. And obviously, once I get this one out of the way, it's back to what I was going for, and that's titles.
Good luck to both of you.
Thank you.
Let's go to Shakan Pitters against Joel McIntyre. Shakan, I'll come to you first. You're a Birmingham boy.
Yeah, man.
Home advantage. How does it feel to be boxing in front of your home faithful?
Yeah, it feels good to be back here in Birmingham. It's been probably about 3 years or so since I fought back in my hometown, 3-4 years. So it's been a bit of a while, but I'm happy to be back here and, you know, back in my hometown. Good support here. It's a good boxing city. So hopefully, obviously, by bringing the shows here, more shows will come. But I'm happy to be back here.
Last time out, you were in a tough fight with Dan Aziz. Came up short. But what did you learn about yourself? What changes have you made? And what changes going into this camp?
I feel like boxing's always like a sport where you always continually got to improve, got to be open ears to learning. So that never stopped. You know, I know I've got a lot of fight in me. I know I've got a lot of ability in myself. And there's more I can show and do. You know, Dan's a good fighter, but obviously I want to get myself back in title contention and push on to more of these bouts.
In against another experienced fighter, how important is a win here?
Yeah, a win's very important for me. You know, Joe's obviously going to come. This is a big stage for him, I'm sure, and a big opportunity as well. So I'm sure he's going to try and come and take it with both hands. But it's my job to ensure that doesn't happen. But for me, I know what I've got to do going in there on Saturday night. I'm fully focused on the task and job in hand, and no doubt I believe I'll get the win.
Providing you do get the win, what do you want next in 2023?
More titles, man. I want to push on to more titles, definitely. Even if it's to run back with Dan for the European. You've got Lyndon with the IBO. There's good fights there for me, but not looking over Joe. You know, Joe is a decent fighter himself, and I've got to get the job done. I've got to get the job done good on Saturday in order for me to be mentioning, you know, names and titles myself. So I've got to look good doing it as well.
Joel, you said it there. It is a big opportunity for you. How do you make sure you grab it with both hands?
Yeah, it's a big opportunity. I appreciate it from Boxer, Ben Slom and the team. It's good to be here again. I need to stay focused. It's not an ideal fight for me. I mean, it's a great opportunity, but big, tall guy. You know, everyone knows I like to come forward and just walk people down, and obviously that plays right into the hands of a tall guy. But the tactics are different. I won't reveal too much, but we have tactics, we have a plan, and I'm very focused on going through with that.
You mentioned it there. He's taller than most heavyweights. How do you deal with those size and reach advantages?
Well, that'd be telling too much, wouldn't it? But we have. I mean, this fight is about 5 or 6 years coming. We were both in the Boxer tournament, the second one. It was the light heavyweights. Shakhan won that. He did what he had to do. I definitely softened Dex Spellman up for him for that final. But I was hoping to get through to the final, and I was preparing for Shakhan Pitters in the final. So, yeah, we did a lot of prep and we did a lot of work for that. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. I was on the end of a bad decision, I believe. But a 3-round, it can go any way. That was unfortunate. Like I say, in the semi-final, I didn't come through that with the win. But yeah, I mean, it's a long time coming, and I've got a lot of respect for the guy. But I think it's just right now. It's just right timing.
You do have a knack for pulling things out of the bag when needed. 2 of your most recent wins have come by stoppage. Do you feel like you will need to stop Shakhan in order to win the fight?
Yeah, it's never really a particular thing like I'm looking for the knockout, but I always like to try and take it out of the judges' hands, and you're not waiting at the end. And first, I won the English title back in 2016, and I know that I was on home court advantage, and I know that I won, but I was still, until my hand was raised, there was nothing guaranteed, and it's the way every single time. You know, you do see bad decisions, and I'm not saying that there will be, just because I'm not on a home show, but I never like to leave it to the judges, so I'm going to do my best.
You've been a pro now for 13 years. Do you feel like experience will play a part in this fight?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Fight prediction?
My plan is to get him out of there. So we're going to do our best.
Guys, good luck on Saturday night. You're going to go down and do some head-to-heads and some photography, and we'll be back with the main card press conference in a few minutes.
I don't think Corey Gibbs took the super glue very well. It was a bit of a joke. Because it was a really bizarre fight, this one, wasn't it, in Bournemouth?
It was bizarre, and I'm guessing it must have been massively embarrassing for him too.
For those of you who don't remember, it was the saga of the gum shield, wasn't it, throughout the fight, that Corey Gibbs, it kept coming out of his mouth, and we didn't really know what was going on. And by the end of it, you were kind of watching the gum shield rather than the fight, sadly, weren't you, really, or what was going on?
Well, it was impossible not to, because it was spoiling the fight. You know, there was no... there was no flow in the fight. The ref had to keep stopping it. So, as Corey said there, he couldn't find any rhythm. There was no fluidity to his work, because every sort of 25, 30 seconds, the fight gets stopped. And the ref was trying to let it go as long as he could, but it just kept popping out. And, yeah, it was really frustrating. It was really... it ruined the fight, really. And clearly affected Corey's performance. But, he's assured us that that won't happen this time.
Just clearing the decks. Just clearing the decks. What you don't know is we sit down there while we're watching, and there's all sorts going around here, so just making it a clean surface there. Let's just talk a bit about the undercard on Saturday night, because there's a few sort of fights that we really do need to talk about. Of course, the return of Ben Whittaker. He's been out for about 9 months, isn't it? It was Saudi the last time we saw him, and he had an injury. Hasn't had to have surgery on it, thankfully. But he'll be itching to get back in the ring, won't he, on Saturday night, Johnny? And in Birmingham as well.
Ben Whittaker loves to fight. He loves to brag. He loves to boast. He loves people to know, wants to look at me. He now has a chance to fight on home turf, come back in the mix. I bet he's been so frustrated watching everybody's career develop and move on, frustrated with his injuries, frustrated that his career is not where he wants it to be, because he knows what talent he has. And so let's see how Saturday night goes. He walks through that injury-free, thinks, you know what, I'm back in the mix again. Then we can all get getting excited again.
When we caught up with him a month or so ago, wasn't it, on the show, he is someone that has used the sort of the layoff to his advantage to really hone his skills and work on things. So it won't be a negative, I don't think, for Ben.
No, you can only do what you can do, and if you're out of action in terms of fighting, but you're able to train health-wise, you can get, you're not injured, you can work within the gym. There are obviously aspects of your game that you can work on, and it's a new partnership with him and Sugar Hill as well, so they're still trying to get to know each other, so definitely he can make use of the time.
It seems to be a partnership that's working. I mean, when Ben came onto the scene in his first professional fight, it's fair to say it was a flashy performance, wasn't it? Skilled, had the flair, but there was a bit of showboating going on. His second professional fight, he wasn't happy at all with his performance. What do you think we're going to see this time around from him when he faces Jordan Grant?
I think his boasting flash style will always be with him. He wants to get the job done. He wants to put on the performance. He wants the public to talk about him when they walk away. So his frustration is maybe was injury. I think he felt a niggle, and so he was mad at himself because he knew potentially he was going to have time off. And two, I just think he's frustrated because he wants consistency. He wants to be in there in the mix. He wants people to get used to him. So he probably knew a lot more than what we actually saw on screen.
They're kind of sort of chalk and cheese, aren't they, Ben Whittaker, and you compare him to Joshua Buatsi, because Ben, Andy, come and get involved in the chat, Andy Clark. Ben Whittaker absolutely adores being in the limelight, doesn't he? He thrives on that, whereas Buatsi, we haven't seen too much of him, really, have we? We're talking about return of Ben Whittaker on Saturday night. How impressed have you been so far? It's still early days, and he's had obviously that 9-month layoff, but how impressed have you been, Andy?
Yeah, I mean it's been very stop-start, hasn't it? Because he had the shoulder injury in the Olympics, that took a bit of getting over, then took a while to sort out who he was going to sign with, then he boxed a couple of times in a few weeks, and big knockout in the first one, then went the rounds in the second one. You can't help but like him. The confidence is infectious. I remember at our last fight night, he was at ringside, and God Save the King rang out at ringside, and I said to Matt, I just joked on commentary, Ben Whittaker probably thought that was for him. But you've got to love that. You've got to love that. What's going to be interesting with him is he's training with Sugar Hill. He's been sparring Akoli. He's been sparring some big guys, I've heard, and it's punching power. We know that he can move. as a pro, can he develop respectable punching power that means that people can't walk him down over a longer duration and inevitably or eventually walk through him? That's what it's about with him, isn't it? That's what he's got to... Because the skills are there, aren't they?
Skills are there. Did you like that confidence? Because some might even say overconfidence, might they, at times?
Yeah, look, he's got that swagger, hasn't he? Not every fighter has it, but he's a showman. His style's very flashy. He relies on peripheral vision and reflexes. He's happy to leave his chin out there, but he backs himself to get out the way when it comes. He's got stacks of ability. He showed that in the Olympics, and not just the Olympics, his whole amateur pedigree even building up to the Olympics. So we know the ability's there. Can he transition it into the professional game? I'd say he can. Maybe we don't know what the power's like, but I think he's got the ability to go all the way. He's we just hope he stays injury free and can fight regularly.
Do you think, John, it's important to have that kind of self-belief, also the platform that he's building, he's into his music producing as well, and having basically the whole package? Do you think that's as important nowadays to go all the way as it is just to have the skills in the ring?
I think Mike Tyson himself reported saying it's not just about being a good fighter these days now, you've got to be your own business. I think fighting, I'll say it again, you have to learn from the YouTubers that are out there that are making the YouTubers that are out there that are making ridiculous money, getting ridiculous attention for something that these guys have been doing from 5 years old. So what Ben Whittaker is doing is perfect, and he's happy to fall on his sword. He doesn't care if you love or loathe him. When you see him do a press conference,
I think he enjoys it, doesn't
exactly.
he? He likes dividing
He'll
opinion.
talk to the press in a press conference like he's got pure disdain for them. And remember, fighters that have done that in the past, Ali, he was hated originally. Floyd Mayweather, hated originally. These guys, again, it's like pantomime. You want to love a villain, or hate a villain. It's one of those two, and he's happy to be there, but either way you're going to watch it.
But how about the personality that Ben has? How will that gel with Sugar Hill, do you think?
I think Sugar Hill likes it. If you speak to Sugar Hill on a personal level, he's actually a bit of a joker. He's actually a pretty cool guy, and he'll say, look, you can have all the fun you want, just do what I'm telling you, have fun with it as well. So don't. Sugar Hill might pretend like, that's nothing to do with me, but he wants him to do that as long as he's doing the basics. As long as he's fighting, as long as he's throwing the shots, as long as he's preserving the energy, as long as he's taking the calculated risks, Sugar Hill will be more than happy with it.
Well, it's a classic, talk the talk, but you've got to be able to walk the walk, haven't you? You've got to be able to back it up, Andy, and then I guess that's what Ben wants to show everyone.
Yeah, 100%. And as for the training team, they've got Tyson Fury. They know how to handle people like him, because you have to be able to do that. Yeah. You need that confidence if you're going to get to the top. And it's a long way to go yet, but as we say, it's about it's the rigours of pro boxing, the duration of fights, the power to keep people off you, because that movement is brilliant, but in a professional ring, doing that for 12 rounds and winning against someone who's always coming forward is pretty much impossible, really. Judges won't give you those kinds of decisions, so you've got to have enough pop to keep someone off you. And there's no suggestion on my part that he hasn't, but that's just what we've got to see come through. But yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for fighters who call other people's names. We've had a great little merry-go-round with Wardley and Fraser Clark and David Adelaide the last few weeks, and that's been great.
That's building nicely, isn't it?
That's what you want. You want the lads to and the girls to make fights for promoters almost, and then go to them and say, listen, I've basically done your job for you here. Now let's just get this done.
Put another row on that figure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. Look at my Instagram followers. A fight we have to talk about as well is Price Babington, because this is going to be a really special moment on Saturday night, isn't it? It's the first time a women's fight, a British title, is going to be up for grabs in this fight. It just shows, doesn't it? Women's boxing has come so far that there is still a way to go, I think. But nights like on Saturday, when this is going to happen, really do sort of mark the special occasions.
Yeah, well, I think when Katie Taylor turned pro, she was the trailblazer for women's boxing. But maybe Lauren Price is going to be the next trailblazer to take it to another level. This is the first ever British title in women's boxing, so she's making history in her third or fourth pro fight. So, she's moving quickly, but she's super talented, loads of ability, proven ability from her amateur days. So why not?
A lot of pressure on her shoulders when she turned pro, obviously being an Olympic gold medalist, and kind of the liking, I guess, to Katie Taylor as well, like you just said, being the trailblazers in women's boxing. How impressed have you been so far? It is just a fourth professional fight coming up on Saturday night, but what have you liked so far about Lauren?
Well, she's a really good boxer for a start, and that doesn't come as any great shock given what she was as an amateur. When we saw her last time out, it was a good, solid performance.
Yeah.
She maybe
that was in
just
Paris,
kind of,
wasn't
yeah,
it? Yeah,
she maybe just kind of lost her balance a little bit when she threw her left hand and came round a little bit square. But those are kind of, I'm nitpicking there, but you have to with someone like her. But she does need to be moved quickly because you don't want her to stagnate. And I think this is definitely a good fight for her. Babington and Price was kind of spoken about last autumn. People were thinking it might happen then. Kirsty went off and fought what was in effect a final eliminator, which he lost. Jessica McCaskill still got 2 out of the 4 belts at welterweight. Sandy Ryan's got 1 now. That's something to think about down the line, because Lauren Price and her were on the same team for the GB for a while, if she could get past Babington this weekend. But Pete, we do expect her to move into that kind of territory fairly quickly. So there is, the pressure's real for female stars, because they are expected to move just really, really fast.
What kind of challenge do you think will Babington pose Lauren Price? I mean, I guess she's slightly more experienced than Lauren.
Slightly more experienced, tough, ambitious. She understands that she's the B side of this. So she's going in there. Lauren's going in there with a hungry fight. But you've got to remember the talent that Lauren's had. I'm quite sure I read something that she beat Savannah in the amateurs. So she knows the fights that are there. She knows a great fight with Sandy Ryan could actually realistically happen. It's not an impossible fight to make. So I actually think Lauren, she's going to be punch perfect. She has to be punch perfect to pick up a British title, which is great, and 2 to make this just a stepping stone in her career moving forward.
Historically, in the male fights, in British title fights, they're brilliant fights, aren't they? They're real cracking fights. Do you think we're going to see the same on Saturday night between Price and Babington?
Yeah, I think we are, because Babington, she kind of knows one way. I was just talking to Errol, her trainer and manager, Errol Johnson, and she comes forward, she's aggressive. That's how she does it. She actually boxed Sandy Ryan on Ryan's debut and gave her a good tussle for 6 rounds. So there won't be any surprises for Lauren Price. But it's exactly what she needs, really. Can she handle that? Can she cope with that over the championship distance?
I think that'll bring the best out of Lauren Price, actually, having an aggressive opponent taking the fight, because she's more a laid-back counter-puncher boxer, isn't she? She's not really an aggressive come-forward boxer.
You know what? But sometimes when I see Lauren fight, I think she can be talked into a tear-up. The ego thinks, I'm having some of this, I'm stepping into it. So Babington might draw that side of her to say, all right, let's have a bit toe-to-toe. So don't be surprised. She might not want to be smooth. She might, if someone's there in her face to put her under pressure, she can be talked into a tear-up. And that's where she's got to learn her craft and be smart about it, be patient about it, because sometimes you've got to lose a battle to win a war.
It's going to be a real special moment. I think it's going to be sort of one of those tingly moments, isn't it, on Saturday with that happening. Talk about the main event then, Joshua Buatsi, Pawel, Stepien. Haven't seen Buatsi in the ring for about a year. What are you expecting? Does he need to deliver a standout performance, a statement? What do you think?
I wouldn't say he needs to, stun the boxing world. Everybody's going to want him to make a statement. That's what we always say. But he has been out for a long time, and I'll just be happy to see him just shed some rust and box well. If he boxes really, really well, then great. That's a bonus. But I still have very high hopes with Buatsi. I think that the inactivity's been frustrating. The promotional thing has been frustrating.
Could it be an issue, do you think? Could that...
Well, I mean, it can always be an issue, but at the same time, he's had a lot of time with the gym with Virgil. This is, been together a little while now. He's been sparring big, heavy guys. Yeah. I thought he looked good against.
I don't know. Once a year is kind of normal, anyway, isn't it, for Buatsi? Yeah. He's not even inactive these days.
He's been sparring again, big, heavy guys. I liked him against Craig Richards. I felt like he'd kind of dropped his height a little bit, sunk his head into his shoulders a touch. He was a bit harder to hit. That's always been the criticism, that he's not that hard to hit. But that division is just, in a sense, because Bivol and Beterbiev have had those belts for so long, his inactivity hasn't really cost him any world title shots, I wouldn't say. Him and Eddie had that back and forth about the Bivol fight, but, who knows really what happened there.
Do you think we need to see a bit more Buatsi outside of the ring, though? Do you know what I mean? Because I think people need to get to know Buatsi a little bit more. Is that a fair thing?
So this is why Buatsi needs to create some consistency with his career, because he's not loud, he's not in your face, he's not a Ben Whittaker. He's kind
of the nicest guy outside the ring and demon in the ring, and
but now he's taking care of his bit of business. What I do, and what's probably going to happen, Andre Ward, one of the best fighters in the world, but it wasn't much about him outside of him because he concentrated on the game itself. Now Buatsi's joined partnership with Andre Ward's former coach, Virgil Hunter. Virgil Hunter will have him doing the job. He's not going to let you fly to be a celebrity. This is your job here. So he's got to decide what he wants the most. He needs to be consistent, but you are not going to see him turn up to the opening of a paper bag. He'll need to be in the gym to hone his craft, and that is what will make Virgil Hunter happy.
I wasn't necessarily saying turning up to an event. I just mean, do we need to get to know a bit more of Joshua's personality?
Well, I think he just needs to fight more, because I don't think he is that outgoing personality. He's quite, he's not flamboyant at all. He's matter of fact.
Lets the talking in the ring, doesn't he?
Exactly. So I think it's important for his brand, let's say, or his profile to build that he fights active.
Okay, I think we are just about ready to go. Yep, everyone's in position. Let's hand you over to Big Mo.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We move along in our live showdown press conference today as we head towards this Saturday at the Resorts World Arena for Boxer Crowning Glory, live on Sky Sports. I want to welcome back Savage Dan, the host of today's press conference, and now joining Savage Dan on stage, the CEO and head of Boxer, Ben Shalom. And now introducing the fighters that are joining us on stage and competing this Saturday. First, the two individuals going for the WBO European Super Lightweight Championship. First, the challenger from Birmingham, Casey Benjamin, and the defending champion from Belfast, Northern Ireland, Sean, the public nuisance, McComb. And now, the two men squaring off for the EEU European title. First, from Wythenshawe, England, Macaulay McGowan. And from Rowley Regis, Tyler Denny. Up next are the light heavyweights. First, from Hamilton, Scotland, Jordan the Game Grant. And making his return from West Bromwich, England, the undefeated, the Olympic silver medalist, and the surgeon, Ben Whittaker. Our chief support on Saturday is a historic one, as we will crown the first ever British female welterweight champion. First, from Pensnet, England, Kirsty Bavo Bavington. And introducing from Ystrad Mynach, Wales, one of the most decorated amateurs in history, and the 2020 Olympic gold medalist, the undefeated Lauren Price, MBE. And now our main event in Birmingham this Saturday. First, the undefeated former Polish and IBF Intercontinental light heavyweight champion, Pawel Stepien. And now, the man you have been waiting for to see return from Croydon, London, England, by way of Accra, Ghana, the undefeated, the Olympic bronze medalist, and the former British and WBA Intercontinental light heavyweight champion. And on top of the bill this Saturday night, Joshua Buatsi. Savage Dan, the floor is yours.
Big Mo, welcome everybody to Manchester. Saturday night, to Birmingham. Bad start. Welcome to Birmingham. Joshua Buatsi takes on Pawel Stepien at the World Arena, Birmingham, Saturday night. Big time boxing has been missed in Birmingham, not so much in Manchester, but it's back. Ben, talk to us about this, Bill.
Yeah, you can blame me for that one. Almost every show we do is in Manchester. No, it's great to be here, great to be in Birmingham. We've wanted to do this for a long time. Midlands boxing, you can see the talent coming through, and it's never really had that consistency, that major show coming back and forth, and the talent to headline shows here, I think, is a historical card in many respects, but also, some real superstars coming through Midlands boxing at the moment, and to be headlined by someone that we wanted for a long, long time. A lot of pressure on this man, one of the most talented fighters of his generation, Joshua Buatsi, to return in his debut for Boxer on Sky Sports. It's a special show. It really is, and delighted to be here in the first of many in Birmingham.
Pressure's on me now. So we have a lot of local heroes. We have Olympians, title fights. Not a bad way to return to the Midlands. Let's start with Casey Benjamin against Sean McComb. Sean, I'll come to you first. The Public Nuisance. I love the name. I really do. Have you come to Birmingham to make another scene?
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be part of such a historic card. As Ben said, there's history here already with the British title fight, and obviously a debut for Joshua as well. It's a pleasure to be on this show, and I'm not just here just to be part of it. I'm here to win. I'm here to defend my belt and put on a great performance.
Your WBO European title is on the line. What do you have to do to make sure that it goes back to Belfast with you?
Well, in the gym, myself, Pete Taylor, and my team around me have been working smarter. The talent's there, the work ethic is there, and the boxing IQ is there. We've been working smarter to put all that together, and that will show on Saturday night. You are a slick boxer. You were a very, very good amateur as well. Are you expecting a chess match on Saturday night? No, not at all. I think Casey will come out, try and be rough and tough, and try and blow me away early. I'm expecting that type of fight, and I prepare for that type of fight. All being said, he's a great boxer as well. I watched snippets of him against Dalton Smith, and he actually has a good boxing IQ himself. So either way, I've had a great camp, and I prepared for it properly. Where is this fight won and lost for you? It's not lost, it's only won. That's all I can see. Casey, you are the Grandmaster. You do like to play chess. You are a boxer, puncher, but Sean said that he expects you to go and blast them out of there. What do you think? What are you doing?
I don't want to give away the game plan, but I believe I'm more superior than him in every department, so I feel like however he comes to fight or box, I feel like I'll outdo him regardless of how he comes out. Boxing at home in Birmingham in front of your fans, do you feel like that's going to give you the extra couple of percent needed? 100%, It's my first time fighting on a big show in Birmingham, and I'm looking forward to it, putting on a dominant performance in front of my fans and winning my first bout, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Last time out, you were in a very competitive fight against Dalton Smith. You came up short, but you gave a very good account of yourself. What did you learn about yourself and about the level against Dalton Smith? Dalton's a good fighter, but I felt like it was a close fight. And, yeah, it could have went either way, but him being the champion, yeah, we got the decision. But, I still hold my head up. And, obviously, I've watched back where I went wrong. And, I believe it was due to inactivity. But, yeah, I'm looking to put on a dominant performance come Saturday night. I think this will be the first time you will have weighed in under 10 stone 2 since Dalton Smith. Is it easier this time round? Do you feel like that made a difference? I don't struggle with it because I have a good team around me. Everyone knows what they're doing. So, yeah, I'm always making weight comfortable. I was well inside my check weight limit. So, yeah, man, I'm just looking forward to get ready now and lace up. Sean says this fight is only won, but where do you see this fight won and lost? I don't believe that I lose to him. Otherwise, I wouldn't have took the fight. But yeah, I'm confident in my ability and I'm ready to fight all back. So yeah, I don't mind. Ben, it's a very good fight to start the main card. WBO, European. What more can you want?
Yeah, I don't want to say it's one of those that either fighter can't lose, but it feels like that. Sean McComb was on his way to sort of world level, and Casey Benjamin coming off a defeat that he took really without the rounds against Dalton Smith, who's considered one of the best in the country. So it's a massive fight, and I think one of the fights that could steal the show. Another fight that could easily steal the show is Tyler Denny against Macaulay McGowan. Macaulay, I'll come to you first. Yo. I think it's fair to say you've been in there with some top opposition. Not many people will ever say they've got to share the ring with Sergio Martinez.
How was that experience?
Forget Sergio Martinez, man. I'm sick of going on about that fight. I got beaten. That was the end of it. I dwelled on it for like a year, telling everyone that I knew. I boxed Sergio Martinez, and I got annoyed. So, yeah, forget that. Onto this one now.
You face another southpaw on Saturday night in Tyler Denny. What does he bring to the table, and how do you beat him?
Tyler Denny's a good fighter. He's at a good run of form. Like, look at the people he's beat. Nothing but respect. So that's brought out the best in me in training. I'm looking for a good fight. He's obviously going to try and hit me more than I hit him. So my game plan is to hit him more than he hits me. So yeah, it's going to be a good fight.
Good maths. Boxing's all about momentum. Since that fight with you-know-who, you've picked up 3 good wins and a very controversial draw. Do you feel like you've got good momentum going into this fight?
Yeah, I've just been consistent, stayed in the gym, got the little wins on the little shows and that, and then I got my opportunity last time out, and it was a draw and it was what it was, but I've got this opportunity now and get the job done Saturday.
Tyler, I'll come to you next. Talking of momentum, you are on a hot streak. River Wilson Bent, Brad Ray, Brad Pauls. How do you make sure that you continue that form on Saturday night?
I just keep doing my thing, man. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying my boxing, enjoying my life, and I'm going to enjoy Saturday night as well in front of a home crowd. Looking to put on a dominant performance.
How does it feel to box in front of your home fans on such a big show? There's been times where you've had to be a little bit earlier on a build than maybe you would have liked. Looks like you're going to have a very good slot on Saturday night.
Yeah, it's going to be something new to me, to be honest, because my last ones have been, it's probably been like 4 years or something since I've boxed local. So, but, a ring's a ring to me, and whether there's 10,000 people or one person there, I'm looking to come and win and do the business and look good doing it as well.
With all your recent wins, you'll admit that you've had to go to the well a couple of times in order to win them. They're grueling, they're tough. Is that one of your advantages, you think, being able to constantly dig in and find something?
Yeah, I'd say so, but, Macaulay's probably, he's been to the well as well. So it's a good fight, he's a game fighter. I'm a game fighter, and he's going to match up really well. And I can't see it not being a great fight. And I hope it's a great fight. And I'd take a boring fight as long as I won, but I think it's going to be fireworks.
Ben, it seems like it will be fireworks. Tyler's always in good fights. I think he's got the perfect dance partner here. Talk to us about that fight.
Yeah, it will be. I think, look, Tyler Denny deserves his opportunity, if anyone, to be fighting in his hometown, to now get the respect he deserves, to be the home fighter for so long. He's been the away fighter and had to just fight his way through to this position. And then for Macaulay McGowan, who got robbed really out in Paris, we did expect that, and it happened, and it was devastating for him and Joe Gallagher, who worked so hard for that opportunity and won the fight. And then didn't get the win. It wasn't a good night in that sense, but that's why he deserves another opportunity. And delighted to put on this fight. I think both men deserve this chance, and it's going to be a hell of a fight.
Next up, we have Olympic star Ben Whittaker against Jordan Grant. Jordan, I'll come to you first. Last time out, you fought Aaron McKenna on the shortest of short notice. This time, you get a full camp. Yep. Does it feel better?
Yep, no, definitely. It feels good to have had a full camp this time. Obviously, get myself fit, ready for the fight. I'm under no illusions. Listen, Ben Whittaker's an Olympian. It's a mountain to climb, but at the end of the day, anybody who's watched me knows I don't roll over, so he's got a tough fight. He's got a tough night in his hands. Look, I'm here to do it for my family, my kids. That's why I take these fights. So it'll be sweeter when I beat him. And it'll change my life. So yeah, I'm ready, I'm fit. It's a different Jordan Grant. I'm down at my own weight, so yeah, no, listen, I'm ready for a war, so let's go.
You'll have no doubt seen lots of Benzo. He's skillful.
Yep.
Do you feel like you have what's needed in order to get your hand raised?
Listen, if you're an Olympian and you're getting medals, you're right up there in the boxing world. As I say, I'm under no illusions. It's a tough task, but listen, I'm game, and listen, I've come fighting. I wouldn't have took it if I wasn't confident, so I'm looking forward to it.
I'm sure Ben will say that no stone has been left unturned in camp, but deep down, do you feel like you're being slightly underestimated?
Yeah, just a bit, and I've got a wee bit to touch on. He said on Instagram post he was going to put me in a body bag, which I don't think it's very respectful. I know with your level, do you know what I mean? You don't say things like that, especially with somebody with a family and kids. So do you know what? No, I'm looking forward to it. It's a wee bit of needle in it for me, so it'll be good when I beat him.
How do you win? How do you take him off his game?
Well, listen, we'll just deal with our game plan. No give too much away.
Ben, good to have you back. Last time we saw you was on the AJ Usyk 2 undercard. You picked up a niggle, an injury. You've been out since, but how's the shoulder?
Firstly, which camera door looking to tell you I'm back? That one there? Yeah, man, the surgeon's back. Saturday you'll see a performance. And I didn't really get what he was saying, all that Scottish talk. I don't understand it, man, so we'll see Saturday.
Injury-free?
Injury-free, baby.
People are still drooling over the...
Hey, don't talk when I'm talking. Carry on, Dan.
People are still drooling over your debut in Bournemouth. This time you're back on relatively home soil. Wolves is just down the road. Does that add an extra edge to this, finally, after however long you get to box in front of your own fans?
Yeah, 100%. A lot of people want to see me live in the flesh. When I was on the Olympic team, was always flying around the world. I said to them, if they want to come out to Russia next week, they can. But sadly, they couldn't. So this is the first time local people can see me perform, and I'm excited.
Now, I don't want to call it flash, but when people look at Benzo, they see, there's a lot to see. They see music, they see fashion, an unapologetic attitude, all of which will come with a lot of pressure, but I feel like you relish in it.
Yeah, sadly they call it flash because they can't do it. And Saturday you'll see more flash, more performances, and you'll see why I'm special.
Domestically, light heavyweight is probably the most fiercely competitive division in the country. You're still a novice pro, but how soon would you like to be mixing it with some of the big names?
Yeah, I know my potential. My coach knows my potential. Sugar and Joby, they know what I can do. And I've been showing it in the gym. But this game's about performing, having the right fights at the right time, and taking your time. So you'll see when the time's right.
Jordan stands in your way Saturday night. How much do you know about him, and what happens on Saturday night?
He's called the game. It's a good job I play my PlayStation, and I'll just cancel him Saturday.
Ben is obviously a future star. What is the roadmap? What is the plans for him past Saturday night?
Yeah, first off, fair play. Jordan Grant taking this fight, went the distance with Aaron McKenna, which I think shows where Ben Whittaker's at. Jordan, an experienced fighter. Look, for us, it's like having a new signing. Was a huge part of our plans. He's a central figure for Boxer and for Sky Sports, and so it feels special. It feels like a new signing. Bournemouth was one of the most ridiculous debuts I think we've ever seen in British boxing. I truly believe that he's a future box office star here, and he's itching to be headlining. Even now, he's in his third fight. He wants to be headlining these shows. He doesn't want to be on undercards. He knows where he's going, and excited to do it in Birmingham. I think he's going to be a huge star in the Midlands, and we need a huge star in the Midlands. And massive future.
Next, we have a historic fight. The first time that the British women's title will ever be fought for. Kirsty, I will come to you first. What does it mean? You get to fight for a British title, and it's never existed before.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's just another 10-round fight to me. I mean, I've trained hard for it, I just want to make sure that I stay here and on this platform and get the win on Saturday.
You're up against a ridiculously highly decorated amateur, Olympian, won gold everywhere. But where there's a will, there's a way. You're always ambitious. You always go into fights trying to win them. How do you beat Lauren Price?
I mean, yeah, she's achieved a lot, but come on, I've achieved a lot as well. from where I've come from, we've achieved a lot for BCB as well. So, you know, she's got to fight me. She's got to come in there on Saturday and fight me. She's fighting me for 10 rounds. So, I mean, yeah, I'm going to give it her and get the win.
The one thing you do have over her is experience as a pro. Do you feel like that is going to make a difference on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, she ain't done the 10 rounds before. Obviously, she's fought all the girls that I've fought in a professional career. But yeah, I mean, she's going to be a schooled amateur. She's going to be good. She's going to be fast. But as I keep saying, like, I'm here to win, and this is my last chance at this. And I just want to get that win on Saturday, and I'll give everything I can.
You'll have watched her closely. Have you seen much that you can take advantage of?
I don't want to give too much away, you know, but we've been working on some certain things. But I train 2-3 times a day with teaching and everything else. So I'm just going to carry on as I've always done, and that's it. Like, I don't want to keep changing things and whatever else. But you know, on my last fight, I didn't get the win. But you know, I'm not going to run forward and start getting my head popped off. You know, like, well, she might think I'm going to do that, but it's just another fight. You know, I'm here to win, and that's it. Like, my mentality is, come May the 6th, this is me, and I'm going to bring that British title home to the kids at Beacon Hill Academy, man. And you know, I just want to inspire them to become the best version of themselves.
Lauren, you've won pretty much everything there is to be won. On Saturday night, you get the chance to be the first woman to hold the British title. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's a very proud moment, you know, for myself and Kirsty to be the first two, you know, boxing for the British title. It's a beautiful looking belt as well, and it's great just to add more history to my name.
You have a knack already for creating history, and you seem like one of those people that can pick up absolutely anything and take it to a world level, whether it's football, taekwondo, boxing, it doesn't really matter. Do you go into the ring with that mentality that you were just the best in there?
Yeah, you know, obviously I live the life, you know, I'm in Sheffield all the time. And yeah, obviously whatever sport I've done previous over the past, I've always given 100% and come out on top. I've had a great camp, this camp, and I'm looking to just perform on Saturday, and I'm sure, I believe in myself, and I'll come out victorious.
You're bedding into the pro game excellently. Do you feel like every camp is getting better, getting smoother, and you're growing into a pro rather than an amateur?
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, it's going to take time because I was an amateur for so long. But each fight, you know, seeing little improvements, little step-ups, and obviously opponents as well. I got a great team behind me with Rob McCracken and the GB coaches. There's people who I trust, who I work with every day. And, yeah, like I said, obviously just keep learning, keep moving and climbing the ladder.
Saturday night, you have Kirsty in your way. I'm guessing you'll know her pretty well by now. What kind of fight are you expecting?
Yeah, obviously, I know she's game, she's tough, she's a pressure fighter, but like I said, I believe I'm a level above, and I believe, obviously, I box like the way I can box, and I'll come out victorious on Saturday.
Ben, another history-making moment for women's boxing on Saturday night. You're doing big things for women's boxing.
Yeah, it's huge. I think credit to the sport, credit to the board, credit to all the promoters that have invested in women's boxing. The first all-female night in October last year, and just so many milestones that women's boxing is achieving right now. But to actually have the depth and the amount of competition in the sport, in women's boxing, to even be putting on British titles, I think is incredible. And yeah, the whole sport, the board, but it's very, very fitting that Lauren Price, our most decorated amateur in history, really, gets to be the one that fights for the first one. And Kirsty Babington in her own town as well deserves a lot of credit. And she's going to bring absolutely everything to this. And that's where I think we're going to see the very best Lauren Price as well. It's a great fight, and it's a great title, and it's a great moment for British boxing.
Finally, we have our headline fight. Joshua Buatsi takes on Pawel Stepien. Pawel, welcome to the UK. I believe you've got it's translated somewhere. This is the first time you'll have fought outside of Poland. How do you feel that you'll deal with the pressure?
Witam wszystkich bardzo serdecznie. Czuję się dobrze. Dziękuję, że mogę walczyć na tak dużej gali. Jest to dla mnie wielkie wyróżnienie i czekam na sobotnią noc.
Good afternoon, and thank you to Boxer and Sky Sports for having me on this big show. I feel very good and happy to be here, and this is the height of my career, and even more happy that I'm on the main event.
How much do you know of Joshua Buatsi? What do you see his strengths and weaknesses being going into this fight?
Oglądałem wiele walk Joshua Buatsiego, także jest to bardzo dobry bokser. Natomiast nie chciałbym tutaj się wypowiadać o jego dobrych czy złych stronach. Wszystko okaże się w sobotnią noc i cieszę się, że będę mógł z nim rywalizować w walce wieczoru.
Joshua Buatsi is a very good fighter. I have watched and studied his fights, and I am happy that I can step in the ring with him on Saturday night and test my skills.
Joshua, Saturday marks the beginning of the next phase of your career. But Pawel is unbeaten, he's stubborn, and he'll be dangerous. How do you ensure that things go smoothly on Saturday?
Firstly, thank you everyone for showing up. Good afternoon to all. Very humble to be on this card, man. There's great talents. The guys that came before us and all of us on this table. Very humble to be on this card, man. Yeah, I'm happy to be back, most importantly. Got Pawel, a good competitor. I think he asked me how do I think I'll handle him. I'm here to win. There's no other language, there's no other thinking process, there's no other thought. The aim here is to win and to look good doing it.
You've been out the ring for 12 months. Some fighters don't believe in ring rust, some do. Do you think that the time out of the ring will change anything?
The results remains the same. Whether I had a year, 10 years, however time I had off, the result remains the same, the goal remains the same, so it's not in my thinking process.
You and Virgil will have no doubt had a look at Pawel and devised a game plan to beat him. What does he do well?
He's a good boxer, representing his country, which I must give credit to. Polish people are tough, you know, they're strong, they're competitive. Boxed a few of them in the amateurs. A strong nation, so I'm sure he'll be strong and tough.
Looking past Saturday night without looking past Saturday night.
Hard to do that, man.
It's hard. But what would your ideal roadmap look like for the rest of 2023? There's no secret about it. You want world honours and you want them on your terms. In an ideal world, what would the future look like?
Have something tangible to show. All of us that went to the Olympic Games or even boxed as amateurs, when you come back from a tournament, you've got something tangible to show people to say, look, I won the fight, here it is. In the professional rankings, we won the belt. I want something tangible to say, guys, I kept on talking about boxing, being a world champion, here's the belt, take a picture of it, take it to your friend, take a picture, bring it back to me. So the aim is to have something tangible in form of a world title to show people.
You're involved in one of the most thrilling light heavyweight divisions that there's been for some years here domestically. Is it important that everybody eventually fights each other? I know you've done your best and you've fought actually some of the main guys, but there are still others out there and still some questions to be answered.
Yeah, I think for me it's important that when we're in our 40s, I want to be able to say, do you know what? See that guy there, I fought him a few years ago. We had a good scrap. There's a good handful of us, so I think it's imperative we all mix it up. I think the public wants to see it, and like I said, I don't want to be 40 and saying, you know what, we should have fought this guy, that guy, and we didn't make it happen. We're all from the same country. Let's make something of it.
It's always respectful with you, but do you have any final messages for Pawel or for the rest of the light heavyweight division?
It's the same. Everyone else outside the ring, I'm going to be cool, calm. I'll speak nicely, but when the bell goes, it's a different look, and everything's on the line. Everything's at stake. Smaller gloves, the lighter brights. The critics are here as well. Not everyone here supporting. The critics are here, so that all creates the atmosphere and you know, the intensity that I want.
Ben, you were over the moon when you signed Joshua.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's get Saturday out the way and then onwards and upwards and start looking at world honours.
I don't think you can look past Saturday. I think Pawel's number 4 in the IBF for a reason. He's worked his way up. He's unbeaten fighter. It's going to be a tough night, and he's been preparing for a big fight for a lot longer than Joshua. We signed Josh 5-6 weeks ago, and we promised to get him out as quickly as possible. Obviously, Pawel was preparing for the Callum Smith fight. To be honest, just as a boxing fan, I'm excited to see Joshua Buatsi back in the ring. He's one of the most exciting, devastating fighters that we have in this country. I can feel the frustration from the lack of activity in the big nights, and we want to give it to him. And this is Saturday night is the first, hopefully, of many this year. We know the names to come. We know the world titles. We know the big domestic fights as well. But there's a lot of pressure on Joshua. 12 months out the ring, it does affect fighters, and everyone's looking for a statement performance on Saturday. So get through Saturday, and then we know what's next. But Saturday is a very, very big night for Mr. Buatsi and for us as well.
Right, that is it from us in Birmingham at the presser. Tomorrow we have the weigh-in, and then it's on to fight night, Sky Sports Saturday night.
Things are a little bit spicy up there today. Colin McGowan, Ben Whittaker, controlling it up there.
Yeah, I like Ben. Again, as I mentioned earlier, how he talks to the press, his opponent, and everybody. It's sort of like with a dismissive.
But he was like
attitude.
that from the start. Do you remember his press conference for the launch when we were launching our partnership with Ben Whittaker?
Yeah, and that's what
from
it
the
is.
get-go. That was how he is.
That's who he is. He knows it's business. He knows. I'm quite sure on a personal level, he's a completely different character. But this is business. And again, who was the one that stood out there? You know, Joshua Buatsi is top in the bill. But the one that stood out, the character that stood out was Ben Whittaker. And as long as he can back up the bolts, you know, eventually, when he is top of the table, you know, he will take centre stage every time.
To put it into context, Ben is his third professional fight on Saturday night. Yet the character and the personality that Ben Whittaker is, he'd be thinking, well, why am I not in the conversation with the best yet?
Yeah, well, I think, you know, because it's where he is, his progress has been hampered through injuries, and, you know, he's still in the very, very early stages of his professional career. That said, I think he is going to move quickly. He's not a young kid. He's mature, lots of amateur pedigree. He's sparring with some top fighters as well. So I think this is a guy that is going to literally move fast.
Casey Benjamin, Sean McComb, this could be a good fight as well.
I'm really looking forward to this fight.
This kicks off our live coverage on Sky Sports on Saturday night, and like you say, we're all very much looking forward to this one. Why so for you?
Well, because I don't know who's going to win it. So, you know, I look at the Lauren Price fight, I look at Ben Whittaker, and I look at Joshua Buatsi, and even though they're good fights, I think I know who's going to win those fights. Where I look at Casey Benjamin, Sean McComb, I don't know who's going to win that fight. I look at Tyler Denny, Colin McGowan, I don't know who's going to win that fight. So that's why I'm really looking forward to those two in particular.
You the same, Johnny?
Yeah, and rumour has it this what you've seen the boys just walk off. They say that's going to be fight of the night.
We saw glimpses how good Casey Benjamin could be against Dalton Smith, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Are we going to see more on Saturday, do you think?
We've got to. Dalton Smith said he performed below par. So did he say he said he performed below par. So now he's got to get himself back in the mix. This one here, Tyler Denny.
Colin McGowan.
Yeah, and McGowan. I remember about getting McGowan boxing in Paris. And he should have got the rubber.
A contentious decision that was, wasn't it,
he should have got the rubber. So he's bitter. You know, and he doesn't want to talk about his loss. He wants to talk about his wins. So
I'm not sure he wanted to talk up there today, to be honest.
Nah, he didn't. Very smart, very sharp, very on it. Just
definitely
very
not about
simple.
Sergio Martinez, anyway.
No, exactly. But Tyler Denny, he's underrated. His style, it looks so simple, but he's a handful.
What are you expecting in this one, Matt?
I really don't know. I mean, Tyler Denny's, you know, he's been on a real run there, hasn't he? Boxing undefeated opponents, and he's He's a workhorse. He'll grind out a performance.
He's home as well.
He's got the home crowd behind him too. But Macaulay McGowan won't worry about that. I think he'll like going into the Lions' den. Tough one to pick.
Do you like that when Macaulay McGowan was asked about Sergio Martinez and completely shut down Dan? Did you like that?
I did really, yeah.
Can you understand what he's meaning? It's not about that anymore.
It's matter of fact, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
he's down to business. That's done. Let's get down to Saturday night. And but this is going to be an interesting one.
Verbals are going back and forth. What's going on?
Yeah.
Ben Whittaker again, taking the stage. It's not about listening. It's not the fight doesn't start when the bell goes. The fight starts well before then. When these two guys are face to face, you know, Grant mentioned a couple of things that Whittaker said on social media. I respect you, but I don't respect for what you're saying. And Ben is basically saying you're down there and I'm up here, you know, in every level of the game. So and Grant's got to find himself out.
This is exactly what Ben Whittaker wants, isn't it? He wants that back and forth.
Yeah, and I would imagine he'd like to goad opponents to be super aggressive, and then he can be the matador, can't he, and just bob and weave and get out the way. He's a very slick mover. Looking
ahead, is one of the issues, do you think, how hard is it going to be to match him going forward, Ben Whittaker?
Well, it's not like some guys that are of, say, a similar level might be more scary in terms of they're knocking people out, and he's not really that type. People might think, you know what, I could probably get to him, but then I think once you're in there with him, that's a lot easier said than done because he's so elusive. He's a lot harder to pin down than it probably looks.
A special moment on Saturday for these two ladies, Lauren Price, Kirsty Babington. Although Kirsty said she's just approaching it like any other fight, just another 10-rounder. As for Lauren, it's a chance, as she said, just to make a bit more history.
When you're a bit of a star like Lauren or Ben or whatever, you've got a target on your back, and you've got opponents watching you that you're not even aware of because your talent is being able to deal with everybody that's in front of you. For Kirsty, she thinks, you know what, I want to be in her position. So she's probably checked Lauren out from a long time, from the amateurs all the way through. So if there's ever a way for her to figure out Lauren to beat her, she's had more time to prepare for Lauren than Lauren has for her.
And can we just give a bit of a credit as well to Kirsty, because Kirsty's also a PE teacher as well. So training, being a PE teacher as well, it's not easy, is it, Johnny?
She's a likeable PE teacher because if she gets turned over, those kids are going to give her hell.
Exactly. That's not a bad thing to have, is it?
Not at all. Now these two here, you look at Joshua Buatsi and Pawel. I think this fight will show. You've got two world-class fighters, and I think it'd be smarts, it'd be brains, it'd be a chess match. But I think it will tell us so much more than the general public can figure out.
How do you think Joshua Buatsi is viewing this fight? Do you think he's kind of looking at it as marking a new phase in his career, almost like a reset for him?
Well, I'd imagine when you're in a contract, a relationship with a promoter or manager, whatever it is, trainer, whatever, and it's soured or it's not going well, and then you've made the decision that you want out, but then it takes a process to get out.
Yeah.
I'd imagine that will be a really sort of stressful period of time in your career. So I'd imagine now he's got that off his shoulders, and he just wants to see a way ahead now. This is a kid that really probably should have been a world champion by now. I certainly thought 6-7 years ago he would have been by now.
Did you think he feels frustrated by that?
Oh,
Johnny?
yeah.
Joshua.
Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Well, remember, when you see guys that be, as far as he's concerned, behind him, like Dan coming through, being talk of the town, getting all the likes and publicity, you're thinking, I personally think with Joshua Buatsi, if you were under a rock for a couple of years and you came back out of the rock, you'd think, is this guy not world champion yet, or is he not boxed for a world title yet? So I understand the frustrations because his talent is unbelievable. He's like, I look at him as a mini Evander Holyfield, but unfortunately that stopping the start, that he's not been consistent in developing his craft, could be detrimental to him.
Buatsi, 4 fights in 3 years. I think I heard you say, Matt, this week on the podcast about how you can be in the gym, you can do rounds and rounds of sparring, but what actually counts is being an active fighter, is being regularly in the ring.
Yeah, look, sparring's the next best thing, but it's a far way off, really. You know, and it's not just the wins, and it's moving forward in the ranking system. It's building your profile. Like we said, I mean, he's not the most outgoing personality in the world. He's not a Ben Whittaker, so it's important that he fights quite regularly, because that's how he's going to build his fan base and build his reputation and his name.
Is that what you want to see him do? Do you want to see him jump straight back into a fight? Should he come through Saturdays relatively unscathed and
ASAP?
I think he should, as soon as possible. I think he needs to sit there and say, right, see me in 6 weeks, see me in 8 weeks. Do what Tyson did at one point, where you think he's out again. And it'll get people talking. They'll talk about the level of the opponent. But this kid's put himself on the fast track and do quick.
We spoke about it in the interim between the press conferences about the differences between, say, Ben Whittaker and Joshua Buatsi in terms of personality. And that couldn't have been more apparent, could it, up there on stage today, how Buatsi started the press conference thanking everyone, very humble, very appreciative to be on the card. But there is something in Joshua Buatsi that switch gets flicked on fight night, isn't there? Don't be deceived by what you see up there.
Listen, he's a gentleman,
yeah,
you know, but he's vicious inside the ring. He can go through the gears. When he hurts his opponents, you see him lock on. He goes through the gears, and he's got that vicious,
like a shark
streak in him, and he wants to get them out of there. So I love watching Josh fight a lot, and I like listening to him talk as well. I like Ben Whittaker's personality, and I get excited by that.
When was that switch flick for you?
I guess on the ring walk, really. You know, when you see it more so when he hurts his opponents. You know, some people don't sort of go through the gears as good as what he naturally does.
How you doing, Joshua? It's always a bit awkward, isn't it, when you walk in and we're kind of talking about you. We're just saying, up there, we've spoken about this a lot. Nicest guy in the world.
Thank you.
When is that switch flicked for you?
When my hands are being wrapped. When I get into the changing room, I see everyone, I see everything, but as the minutes go by, this is it, and I don't see anything. But I think every fighter has it, man. Maybe mine shows a bit more, but I believe everyone has it.
Is still the beard coming off after the weigh-in? That's still the tradition?
My mum's going to be upset that I'm coming on Sky Sports like this, but pre-fight she knows what's going to happen.
Will Virgil be coming over?
He's already here. Been here for 2 weeks. Yeah, he's here.
What are you looking to show us on Saturday? We've spoken a lot about you being out of the ring for a year. I asked Matt, I'll ask you the same question. Are you viewing this as like the next chapter in your career, like a restart, a refresh?
What am I looking to show? Of course, I'm a competitor in a very, very competitive division. Just to show that I'm the best. You know, to come out here to put on a good show, to entertain the fans. You want to win, but you want to be in an entertaining fight. I always appreciate people that buy the tickets. I know it's a hard-earned money, so to entertain them.
In terms of the division, which is thriving, exciting, thrilling, so many great fights out there, I'm interested to know, where do you rank yourself? Where do you put yourself?
In the country or in the world?
Let's go UK.
Number one. I think I'm number one. All the other, and I say I think because I'm aware that all the other competitors are going to say, no, I'm number one, and they're number one. So I can understand that, but as I say, unless we all mix it up together, we cannot really say who's number one. Or unless someone comes up with a world title and says, guys, you guys can do all the talking, but I've got the world honours here. So I think that's what will separate anyone from the batch.
And who do you see as number two?
I couldn't care less, man. Yeah. There's a handful of them, but respect to the light heavies in the country, they're good, man.
Are you interested in the domestic scene at the moment, or are you looking forward? My argument is I'm thinking you're more looking forward than, as far as you're concerned, looking back.
It's a tricky one because I think domestically we're all good in terms of world rankings. So it's a bit frowned upon when you mention someone at domestic level, but in the light heavy division, they are world ranked fighters. They're good fighters. So I'm interested in both. Of course, I won a world title, but I wouldn't say no to fighting someone at national level because the turnout's going to be mad. The interest is going to be mad. So I want to be in fights like that as well.
Could that someone be Dan Aziz?
An option you guys will be pushing for. It could be Dan. It could be Anthony Yard. Yeah. Lyndon Arthur, the top 5, the top 10.
Yeah.
Let's do something about it.
What's your plan if you get through Saturday, come good, What's your plan? Do you want to be back out there as soon as possible?
Yeah, be back. My coach has already said to me, you only have 2 weeks off. That means I've got to get back in camp. So I'm excited about it. I'm not smiling now,
That's
but
something
I've
to
got
look
to
forward
get
to
back.
going in a fight, isn't it? You're going to get 2 weeks off. You're not even going to get a break. You're happy with that, though?
Emphasised, listen, 2 weeks and you're back out here.
So what are we going to see on Saturday?
What you see all the time. It's not the same dude standing here. This dude is just for the cameras and pre-fight, but everyone knows what to expect when I'm in the ring.
Are you feeling the pressure, though, to go out there and deliver a stunning performance? Because we haven't seen you for a year and we haven't seen you on Sky. Are you feeling that?
There's always pressure. There's always pressure. So I can't single it out. There's always pressure. And the most pressure that exists, I always tell people, is the one that I put on myself. So yeah, there's a lot of pressure that I put on myself.
It's good to see you, Joshua.
Thank you,
chilled
man.
as ever.
Have to be.
Yeah, and we'll see you tomorrow. It'll be the last time we see the beer before that comes off on Saturday night.
Sure.
Best of luck.
Thank you. Congrats, man.
Take
See you
care.
tomorrow.
Yep, see you tomorrow.
Thank
you
you.
too. Some traditions never change, do they? He is the nicest guy, very relaxed, but it is a different story come fight night. That switch definitely does get flicked, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you need that, don't you?
Yeah.
You need that bit of nastiness in you to be a good fighter, I think. And when he gets his opponents hurt, he locks on and he gets them out of there. And I like seeing that.
Hello, Lauren.
Hiya, you right?
How are you feeling?
Yeah, chilled, relaxed, and I just can't wait for Saturday. I've had a really good, tough camp, and looking forward to putting on a show on Saturday.
And of course, the British title is there for the taking for the first time in a women's fight. How much are you looking forward to that, and how special will it be if you win it?
Oh, it was a bit of a mad one, really. I was obviously in the gym training. I knew I was boxing Kirsty, and Rob mentioned to me, obviously she was European champion at the time. She had the belt stripped off her, and he was like, I'm going to speak to John. And then the next thing I know, I had a phone call. I'm just obviously training for 8 or 10 round fight, and he's like, British title's been put on the line. And yeah, it was a complete honour, for me. Obviously the British title is special, and it's a beautiful looking belt as well, so to add more history to my name, it's a very proud moment.
It is a stunning belt, isn't it, Johnny? One that every fighter wants to win, and we always say it, don't we? Tick that box.
It's a stunning belt. I think if you're going through the traditional route as well, it gives you more confidence within yourself at world level. The 10-round distance, you mentioned that you've never been that distance. Do you think it'll be an issue for you, or you want to prove that actually it isn't?
No, I don't think so at all. I'm a full-time athlete. I've been sparring 12 rounds, and I've been starting off my camps. I'm sparring 3-minute rounds and stuff like that. And obviously I got a great trainer in Rob McCracken, and he's been there, and he knows. Obviously, he said to me this week, your fitness is unbelievable and stuff. So yeah, I'm more than confident, to do 10 rounds or 12 or whatever it could be. I've had a great camp, like I've said, and I'm just looking forward. For me, obviously Kirsty, she's another step up in opponent, but I do believe that obviously I'm a level above as well. Where do you see her weaknesses? I think obviously she's come forward fighter. She haven't, how can I say, her defence, I think she's very easy to hit. And looking obviously at her previous fights, she does die down towards the mid rounds and towards the end of the fight as well. But I know obviously she starts quite quick. She'll come out. I know obviously she's boxing at home, so she's going to be game. She's going to be tough. But I've prepared 100% for that. Are you looking beyond this fight on Saturday night? No, I never look beyond the fight. This has just been in my mind for the last 8 weeks I've been in camp. But for me, the big thing, was just having momentum this year. And it's my 4th professional fight. I just see Kirsty as another stepping stone, to get to that level, world level. So for me, I suppose it's the right time and good opponent. And with the British title as well, it kind of feels like it's another step forward, another notch on the dial, isn't it, in terms of how far women's boxing is progressing? Yeah, 100%. It just goes to show, in Britain as well, these, female categories and that, they got the number of fighters in it for a British title to be on the belt, So on the line. So for me, it just goes to show women's boxing is improving all the time. We've seen it on the Shields Marshall card, and it just seems to be getting bigger and better, and the fights are more competitive as well. Looking forward to seeing you on Saturday. Kara's going to be there as well? Yeah, she'll be there. She's 3 weeks after me, so I'm back in camp with her on Monday. 3 weeks to go, and then we're going on holiday after that, so we can.
That's all right.
chill
At least
out.
you've got a holiday. Josh and Buatsi straight back in. He's only got 2 weeks. So at least you've got that to focus on.
Exactly.
Yeah, good. We'll see you tomorrow,
Thank you very
and best
much.
of luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Business.
Business.
Business as
Business,
usual.
but at least they've got a holiday to look forward to, Matt.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, they should probably want to really be able to enjoy ourselves till Carys gets a win out the way.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's
Yeah.
always one, isn't there, in their household going forward?
I'd love to see them how they are like in the gym together, sparring together, how they're working out together. Because I bet
I've
even on
been-
a holiday, they're not on
I've
holiday.
only been a couple of times up in Sheffield and been there when they're training, and it genuinely is just that they're just both getting on with it,
Yeah.
training, down to business. You know,
I bet their holiday's not even a holiday. They're training.
No, I
Let's-
imagine.
let's-
Can you imagine on the beach doing a bit of sparring as well? Yeah. In terms of Saturday night, aside from the main event, if you could pick out one fight that you're most looking forward to, what would it be?
Ben Whittaker. I'm looking forward to seeing the emergence of him again. Of course, I just want to see where he stands. I want to see just see how he holds up. Because again, keep an eye on the shoulder, keep an eye on, and that's his problem is less of his opponent than his body breaking down. And so, and if he can get it together, get some consistency again, then he's back in the mix.
It's as if you knew he was
Speak
going to come.
Speak of the devil.
Speak of the devil, Ben Whittaker. Really good to see you, Ben. Yeah, how are you feeling? Looking forward to be back in the ring after 9 months out, I imagine, on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm excited. Just another fight for me. I talk a bit of rubbish up there, but at the end of the day, I know when it's time to switch on Friday night, we'll do that.
Just how much do you love the limelight?
Not too much. No, not too much, but it just keeps happening. So
Yeah.
someone's got to talk, ain't they? We'll be sitting there all day, so I'll talk for them.
In terms of pressure, are you someone that puts pressure on yourself, or you are?
Yeah,
Okay.
100%. Like I say these outrageous comments and things like that. I do truly believe it.
Except from the exterior, people
But I
might
like
just think
to-
you don't feel it at all. You're
That's
very
it, that's
confident.
it.
I'm
But I
just-
like to say it because I got something to work for. I like to say it because I know if I don't do it, there's going to be so much on my back. So that's what gets me up in the morning. That's what makes me do the extra rounds. So it's a little push for myself.
In terms of the 9 months we haven't seen you in the ring, what have you been working on?
I've been working on the PlayStation, man. You know what I mean? Nah, I'm joking. I've been working hard. That's why I'm back so fast, if I'm honest. I finally started paying the right money to get the right people on board. So I've got decent physios, decent people to look after myself because I work so hard in the gym and the stuff that I should be, like the physio, the stretching, I didn't do. And it caught me out. So for once, I'm listening to my body and I'm a proper athlete now.
How are you viewing Jordan Grant?
Tough guy, man. He's talking the game. But at the end of the day, he's got to show it Saturday. But I'm not taking him as an old mug. I know he's going to come for it because this is his chance. But I'll put the work in to make sure it doesn't happen.
There's a few verbals going on between the two of you. What were you saying?
Yeah,
can you
man.
say, or if it's not swearing?
He must have had too much iron brew or Harry Bowls or something, man. His blood sugar was getting too high. No, bless him. He started ginger, he ended up red. So he needed to calm down a little bit. You know what I mean?
I take what you can't be told. Yeah, so are we going to see some sort of statement from you on Saturday? Of course, you're at home as well, so you're going to be wanting to put on a show, I imagine.
Yeah, we call it the homecoming, but I'm like 20 minutes down the road. No, he's a Brummie. I'm from Wolverhampton, so. But yeah, it's the home from home.
Near enough.
Yeah, near enough.
West Midlands.
Exactly. It's home from home, and for me, I like to make a good statement just for the simple fact I want to bring more nights here. We've got so many talented boxers here. We saw the undercard, so many great talents in Midlands, but we don't get to show it. So hopefully if we do well Saturday night, more can happen.
And I'm guessing, yeah, come through Saturday night, you're going to be wanting to get back out relatively quickly again.
I want
Is
the
that the
Eubank
plan?
card, man. I want the Eubank card. No, I missed the first one due to injury. I want to get this kid out there and start getting my kit ready for the next one.
Have you got a wish list on who you would like to get in the ring with?
Yeah, Buatsi, Dan Aziz, Callum Smith. I want the big British fights.
Have you sparred with any of these boys?
Yeah, I sparred Buatsi like 200, 100 rounds. You can ask him. Like when he was getting ready for the Olympics, I sparred him. Then he'd come back and help me for the Olympics. We got good respect there, but at the end of the day, I'd love the fight. Dan Aziz, I sparred him, and I sparred a couple of other people. So,
Who would you like to see him in the ring with?
I think everybody's chomping at each other's tails. So he's behind on paper. He's behind those boys. So he's chasing them. They don't want to be looking back, and vice versa. Josh doesn't want to be looking back at domestic level. He wants to think I want to push on there. So eventually, all these, they'll all meet eventually. Everybody will actually catch up. It's like waiting for buses. They're all there. Then the light heavyweight division is so much talent there, but it'll get to a point where everybody's in the right position to box each other at the right time, especially if we pick up a couple of world titles here in the UK.
Even though you've had 9 months out, the last time we saw you in Saudi, wasn't it? You weren't happy particularly with your performance. How much do you think you learned from that, though?
Yeah, it's one of those things. I'm used to the amateur game where we fight back to back, and I'm a fighter where I'll get through it. Even if I got a niggle, I get through it, and it showed. And hence why I was out for so long. It showed how bad the injury was. I only had 2 weeks to get ready for that fight. I was pretty much trying to look after the wound, but at the end of the day...
And I guess that's in the back of your mind as well.
That's where I learned. That's where I learned, though, because I thought, this is the pro game. You can't jump into a fight 2 weeks after. So luckily enough, the Eubank one's about 6 weeks away, so I can chill out for a bit.
It's interesting when we ask fighters, don't we? We say, "Are you looking past this fight?" And you are someone that has already got one eye on when you want to be out.
Definitely not. I do want to look forward, but I can't because that's how you get caught out. Don't take all this glitz and glam and smiling away from this. You know what I mean? Friday night, after I've made the weight, I'm switching on, and it's Jordan Grant who's in front of me, and it's Jordan Grant who's going to get finished.
In your pro debut, we saw flair, but we also saw a lot of showboating, obviously skills. Are we going to see that on Saturday? What can people expect that are going to be tuning in?
Depends how I wake up on a Saturday morning. You know what I mean? Depends what food I eat and how I prepare myself, but I can't help myself sometimes. If I see the opportunity to do a little shimmy, a little two-step, I'll definitely be doing it.
Oh, I look forward to it. Best of luck, Ben. Good to see you.
See you tomorrow.
See you. Got my hand. What isn't it when you got a mic in your hand? Very confident, isn't he? Very confident.
He is confident, and I know he puts it out there that he's flashing that, but I'd say behind all that, he's very diligent, very professional.
Kind of describe him as what we sort of get is like a swan, isn't he? The exterior of what you see is kind of smooth, cool, but underneath he really is putting in the work. Like he said, the things that he learned from the last fight in Saudi was basically to get the right team on board, not go in there with a niggle, that kind of stuff, you know.
He probably works as much as the next man, if not more. But he also, so that's why, and the more he talks, the more he puts himself under pressure. But so we want everybody else
backs himself into a corner.
Exactly. And I don't want everybody to think he's not doing the work. But if he talks it, you know, then he makes out like it's no big deal. You know, it's just a walk in the park. But this man's probably getting up at 2:30 in the morning, going for a jog, training 3 or 4 times a day. So he's putting the work in. I don't believe it's any other way.
So he can be the way he is.
That's right. And that's some fights you've got to put that kind of pressure on yourself. You need to put yourself in that line of fire.
I asked Johnny which fight on the undercard he's looking most forward to. Who are you looking forward to?
I don't know. I mean, all of them for different reasons. I think.
You're just excited to be in Birmingham, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, look, Ben, you're excited about that kid's career, where he can go. Lauren Price is the same, and of course, I'm really excited to see Joshua Buatsi back because I was a big fan of his. But the 2 fights which I think are the most competitive is Casey Benjamin and McComb and Tyler Denny.
Denny, McCall and McGowan.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a really good card, isn't it? That's it from us here at the press conference. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Matt. You've only got a short ride home.
That's
Lucky
right.
you. Tomorrow is the weigh-in, but don't forget as well, you can join us on Saturday night. We would absolutely love your company. It's 7 o'clock, Sky Sports Action and Sky Sports Showcase. We'll see you then.